Jingle bells, jingle all the way. One man saying that is fine. If that's your opinion and you're not in it, that's fine. But there is an entire market of millions and millions of people that agree that it is a store of value. So, you can think one thing, but there's also a market, and markets tend to become efficient over time.
We do know that you will always get paid in Hex on a daily basis. And that is truly the miracle that we call Hex, because it is trustless interest, trustless yield. Nothing will stop that contract from running.
Welcome in, everybody, to the Creed of Crypto. My name is Bah Humbug Boy Crypto. I have here with me, as always, my friend and co-host Crypto Ewok. Welcome into everybody in the chat. We got Eddie G in here. We got Philly. We got DJ Moonboy, who finally got down off his high horse to join us for once, which is nice to see him back here in the chat as well. We got a big show for you tonight. The world is burning. We're going to talk about crypto and whether or not 2026 may be our year. And if not 2026, maybe 2036. But, eventually, maybe, just maybe, we'll be in profit. I don't know when that will be, but we'll talk about that tonight. We'll talk about what's going on with Bitcoin, Ethereum, the greater market as a whole, what's up with Pulse Chain, a lot of interesting stuff from Richard Hart over the last couple of days. We have a lot of, macro, not just macroeconomics, but like huge news, at least here in the U.S. brewing right now, also in Japan. So, Ewok, I know you don't pay attention to the news anymore and just kind of show up and pretend you know what's going on. Yep. But Japan talking about rate hikes, and, every single mainstream crypto person is saying like, oh, you know what that means? We crash 30% every single time that happens, So they're probably right, because they have been this entire cycle. We've also got Trump with a major announcement here in the U.S., apparently at, I think, 9 p.m. Eastern tonight, that I think Tucker Carlson and others have confirmed is that we're striking Venezuela. I don't know if that's definitely true, but I've seen it posted multiple times on Twitter. So we got maybe a war announcement coming. At this point, if you just wanted to say like there's a new disease where we have to be locked in our homes for the next year, it really wouldn't surprise me. I think we're all a little bit dead inside, and just keep bringing on the bad news. But it's going to get better at some point. It's usually best if you can just accept whatever is happening and move on. So shout out to everybody in the chat. We appreciate you being here. Ewok, how are you on this? I can't believe Christmas is a week away.
Right.
It certainly doesn't feel like it, really. But anyway, how are you feeling tonight?
I feel good. Like you said, I ignore the news. So I really don't pay attention to it. I listen, if I can't control it, I really don't care about it. It's almost like the markets right now. There is nothing that I single-handedly can do. You and I have been streaming for 4 years now, almost every week. And we do our part, but it's such a small part. We have no control over it. So it doesn't bother me. It doesn't stress me out. I don't know. Maybe I'm from that different generation of get the hell outside and go find something to do. Bless you.
Thanks.
You wait, you make the best of it. You make lemonade out of your lemons and deal with what you have and kind of just put in your time. So I hate being positive. Well, I mean, I don't hate being positive, but I feel like everyone's like, you're so upbeat about it, and you don't really care. But again, I can't control it. So Here we are, almost Christmas time. At least, hopefully people get to spend some time with family.
Yeah.
Touch grass, not grass. It's mostly snow, but
No, not
uh,
today. I have a lot
not
of it
it,
today, but yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, good time of year. It's a good time to, you know, talk to family. I know people laugh. Eddie made a comment here. He was talking to his Lyft driver, and the guy
So,
pulled up the chart and laughed. Well, you want people to buy low. That's kind of the idea, and you have to instill that in people that you don't want to buy what it's tons of green candles. Now's the opportunity. Now's the time to be buying when nobody else wants to, and that's when the most gains will actually be made, when this thing does finally decide to do something anyway. So
maybe you wouldn't be driving a Lyft if you knew how to buy crypto at the right time. So just a thought. Just mess around. But yes, EHEX is dirt cheap. Everything is dirt cheap. You want it, you buy it. Yeah. So we'll get into the greater market right now. Let's see what's going on with Bitcoin. So we've got it right now sitting right at about 86K. 85K is like a big, key number. A lot of people have been saying we'll probably get down to, and then down to 80, and then down to 75, and down to 70, which could happen, could not happen. I mean, again, a lot of the mainstream, crypto influencer people everybody's calling the end of the 4-year cycle. I mean, the overwhelming majority, if you look at the people that are involved in the market right now, believe that. And why not? And hey, actually, if you think about it, I think you and I talked about this the other night, Ewok. Like, if you traded the 4 years, if you were only in Bitcoin and you traded the 4-year cycle, then I guess you did okay, probably. Like, I mean, if you bought Bitcoin, I'm sure nobody bought the nuts, 15.5K Bitcoin, but they probably had the balls to maybe get back in when it was over 20K, ride it up over 100,000 or something like that, and now they believe it's over. Then I guess they probably did okay, if that's what you want your trade to be. Obviously, that would not help our financial situation all that much, and not many people are interested in Bitcoin anymore. But that's where we're at. A lot of people thinking it's over and that it'll continue to come down despite all these very positive macroeconomic things coming that we're going to talk about. We have ETH right now at 28.26. A lot of people calling for it to basically go down to 2100, 2K or something like that, which who knows, maybe it will, maybe it won't. It has still been holding up relatively well against Bitcoin. I mean, considering, okay, I'm not saying the ETH to BTC ratio is good, but considering what we've seen BTC drop from, 35, 40% drop, Ethereum and alts should have gotten massacred. And that didn't happen, probably because they've never done anything. So, yeah, what do you think about where we're at? What the hell is going on? What's a time frame here? We've had ad nauseum talked about the 4-year cycle versus, just macro liquidity, and whenever that happens is when it happens, and it doesn't matter what the time is. So what do you make of where we're at right now, Ewok?
yeah, and the more I thought about this, that I brought it up last week a little bit, and if you did play the 4-year cycle, thinking it was 4 years, everybody's gonna start getting really, really good at this. They're gonna buy bottoms, they're gonna sell tops, they're gonna know when it happens. And the more obvious that 4-year cycle becomes, the more unrealistic it actually is. So, I mean, I think that's kind of what we're seeing right now, and it's just the unrealisticness of it being a perfect cycle every 4 years. You get more people that have been in here longer and longer and longer, and be like, next cycle I'm going to play it right. I'm going to know exactly what to do. I'm going to know when to do it. And here we are. We're seeing something like this that's just completely different. Then you have the overall macro, where that they're going to start printing money again soon. The things are lining up for that to happen. Meanwhile, everybody is capitulating and saying that it's over. So, in my opinion, I do think we're going to see a pullback, only because everybody is saying that it's over. You're going to have a mass capitulation, and then when the money printers get turned back on, which they are slowly happening, it just hasn't trickled down to us yet. But the markets overall will pick back up. And again, as I said, that trickles down to everything else, including altcoins, Ethereum. People end up taking profits. It's just delayed now because, again, everybody thought it was going to be so planned and perfect and right on that 4-year cycle. And it's just, as things become more efficient over time, there will be less drawdowns. There may not be as high of run-ups either, but you're going to see things like that play out. So, yeah, it's just a matter of again, we're a product of everything else. We're a product of the macro. We're a product of the economy as a whole, and it, we haven't had our time yet.
And how about just absolutely how co-opted Bitcoin is at this point? Like I've been sending you guys the text about like the just insane manipulation. Like we've talked about it for really the duration of this cycle, but I mean, like especially recently and today was the most blatant, clear. Actually, if you want to pull up that one post that I sent you that kind of outlined, I think. I mean, I don't know if they had all the details, but what happened. And I did say it in chat. Thank you very much, DJ and Moonboy. Merry Christmas to you and yours. I don't know if I'll buy eHex. I might buy PDI with it. I don't know. I guess we'll see. But very much appreciate it. And there you go. So basically not every day, but many days right at the US stock market open, you will see Bitcoin get nuked for like a 3% loss in like 10 minutes. It's been happening for weeks now. We're seeing it on the Bitcoin weekly close. I was telling you guys this, like for the better part of a month, you wake up on Sunday and immediately you start to see red. It closes below, key support and stuff like that. It's just continued to happen. And then this today, so this guy, and a lot of people had posts on this, and I don't know how 100%, if they're 100% accurate, but this guy says, in all caps, which I detest, here's why crypto market just dumped. Binance sold 7137 BTC. Coinbase sold over 10,000. Fidelity sold over 3,000. Random Whales sold, I don't know how he knows that, but 10,000. What is that? New York DIG. I don't know what that is. Anyway,
no idea.
They sold 3,000 BTC. They dumped over 5 billion of BTC in a few minutes. This was a coordinated dump, and I think he has the chart there. If you see, here's what was so crazy. And of course, he doesn't. Damn it. So it had been pumping. That was actually the after effect. So I believe I saw many reports that like Binance mainly were buying up BTC crazy. You guys probably didn't even see this because it was such a quick thing this morning. I just happened to look at it. All of a sudden, when Bitcoin was at 87, about 10 a.m., of course, market open, it was up over 90. And I was like, whoa, that's weird. We're starting to see some green here. ETH all of a sudden was like 3,100. And then it's basically a Christmas tree. If you just go on Twitter and type in crypto, you'll see everybody posting all about it. It was just a huge pump, like 3 to 5% in a few minutes, and then right back down, all within an hour. I mean, it's clearly, liquidating shorts, liquidating longs then, and complete manipulation. So I don't know what to make of it. I mean, in the short term, it doesn't really affect us because we're not doing anything with that. But I don't know. What do you make of these major players doing these kind of things? Because Bitcoin is just in a place with the institutions and all these things involved that it's just very, very different seeming than before.
Yeah, it's clear manipulation. I mean, we know it has to be like that. We know they buy a lot of it. It was surprising to see a lot of green candles because the way it has been, you'll see these smaller green candles. It'll work its way up. And then boom, somebody dumps. So unless there is a lot less, which is a good thing, if there's a lot less on the OTC markets, that's great. That means they have to buy on the regular markets. So I think what was happening for the longest time was that, they were buying OTC, not increasing the price, letting the regular markets, make up for it, and then selling it back down and repeating the process. In each time, they're accumulating more and more tokens. So, just playing the channels of where it's kind of bouncing around. They'll buy OTC, not affect the price, wait till the regular markets kind of catch up, and then sell it back down and rinse and repeat. So I think that's a lot of what was happening. Hopefully the OTC markets have dried up a little bit. So that is beneficial to us. At least we get to see a lot more of the real buys and the real sells. So, I think that's what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. So it remains to be seen. I mean, what is going to happen ultimately longer term with Bitcoin and Ethereum? I mean, the main point of the show tonight was just talking about what will, I mean, 2026 is just such a wild card at this point because, I think there was a time when maybe you had more kind of 50-50 sentiment over like, what's the real cycle, and you have the 4-year cycle diehards that for whatever random reason it's a 4-year cycle period,
Mm.
without much wiggle room, even though they can stretch the definition of that to fit many different ways of it, working out time wise. But then also on the other side you've got macro liquidity, which I think many people probably would err on the side of thinking that macro liquidity is really why the cycles have kind of gone the way that they are, and not just random 4 years. And next year is a time whenever, like you said, I mean, yes, they've already started to inject money kind of stealthily into the central banks. We have had rate cuts in the last 2 FOMC meetings. Quantitative tightening has come to an end. We've said all these things. Jerome Powell is out in May.
Mhm.
We're going to have further rate cuts going into next year. We mentioned this, I think, last week, but a lot of other terms of stimulus, like I forget. I think it was Besant the other day talking about an extra $1,000 or $2,000 that I don't know what basically more money at tax time, which, is probably just our money anyway, that they're repackaging as more money for us or something.
Right.
But
Right.
the more money, though, that you are putting into the economy, the more that things can get bought up,
Yeah.
so that's really what we want. So,
Well, they're adding liquidity, and that's a big
yeah.
thing, and to this comment, yeah, I haven't gotten it right, man. I'll be the first to tell you, I haven't gotten it right. I've been calling bottoms since freaking September, thinking that it was over and done, and it hasn't. So yeah, good call. Call me out. Yep,
What
guilty.
did you call the ball? I actually didn't know what he was talking about on Bitcoin. I don't know what he.
I don't. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. I thought it
You're
was
just
over,
taking the
but
L, even though you don't know what he's talking about.
well,
Maybe
I'm
he's
not
wrong.
sure which bottom that
Okay.
he's saying, but it's clearly being still manipulated and dragged down. And the more and more people that say that it's over, I think the rest of the market is also capitulating as well. So just when I thought that things were going to taper off, I'm not so sure of that. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
usually does get worse before it gets better. So
The kind of what I've resorted to just kind of thinking and saying is like, regardless of time frame, it's like, am I selling at a loss at this point? Like, what did I
yeah,
buy at? What's my cost basis? What I sell right now? And if you listen to people like Bob Lucas and stuff on Twitter, he probably would tell you if you have altcoins to sell them into Bitcoin right now, which that's those kind of people that I guess there's no point even bringing those people up that much anymore, because they don't
no.
have the same goals or
Mm.
thoughts about any of this, or really I don't think care about it either, in the
Well,
same.
that's a big thing. I don't think they care about it. I don't think they own any of it.
Right.
I don't think they're in a position where they need to get a 50x, plus. So they're happy with doing exactly what you said. Is they only do Bitcoin. He has enough wealth probably at this point where a 5x is plenty good for him for a cycle, and he will move on. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are in completely different financial situations, that may need to take a little bit more of a risk, and then there's other people that don't. So
Hmm.
the guys that don't, I really don't care, because they're not in the same boat that we are.
Yeah, I'm with you. We can wrap it up on Bitcoin and ETH. Better, pretty much there. I was reading while I was talking. So let's move on to the Pulse Chain ecosystem now and look at where prices are as far as that goes. We're basically sweeping the all-time low that was just set, 2 weeks ago, maybe? Whenever basically, I think it was the day or two after Richard Hart posted his video about ProveX, and there was more towards the beginning of the ProveX sacrifice
Mhm.
phase. We had Pulse Chain sweep down into the 4014 something. It was down in that range today. So, I mean, it's essentially sweeping the lows again now. And I think we're going to continue, not just with this, I mean, with everything. I think we're going to see continued massive volatility, maybe through the end of the year, probably over the next few days with this, whatever this Trump thing is coming tonight. We're going to have a lot of things going on, I think. But with Pulse Chain right now, we've got 4 zeros and a 1584. Pulse X, 4 zeros, 122. Inc. at about 64 cents. Hex at 2.8 cents. eHex at 3 zeros, 8783. And I don't know why you don't have PDI on the screen, but the last I looked, I think it's at 0016 or 17 or something like that. I like you scroll down to try to find. There you go. There you go. Yep. Yeah. So what do you make of this? So we're sweeping the lows again. And here's something I'll set you up with kind of too, if you want to maybe look at the pulse chart. And I want to ask you this to try to get inside the mind of one Richard Hart. So there seemed to be a bit of we talked about it because it happened before last week's show. There was a bit of a pump in the ecosystem. So it had hit that all-time low. And then we saw Pulse X get bought up a ton and went up 80% within an hour, which obviously pulled up like the whole ecosystem. That happened about a week and a half ago. The majority of it got sold off over a couple days. Now, of course, it's been completely sold off. You can see there as Ewok pulls up the chart. And I'm wondering, we also saw Richard Hart. I think he may have removed this post, but he talked about people selling off every little pump, basically. To me, that means, I don't know where we're going to go here. I mean, we're going to probably settle down here now because, he doesn't just see this. I mean, everybody sees it. It's everything we just talked about for the first half hour of the show. Like with the market conditions right now, injections of a large whale buying anything is probably not going to lead to much more momentum right now.
No.
And I think we're
it's crazy. It's so funny to me how everybody's like, why won't Richard pump the chain? When you clearly look at any kind of pump or any kind of injection, it immediately gets sold right back down. Yeah. Like, so why would you? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. People, talk out both sides of their mouth. Why won't he pump this? Well, he does. And then you guys sell it all down. So, I don't know if it's just people are turning into traders and every little pump they're trying to take advantage of. And, if that's the case, then okay. But, at some point, we've got to let this thing run if you want it to do something. And people need to be a little less trigger happy on the sell button. So, because if you have a few $1 million that get injected and immediately gets bought back down, why would you do that? Why would you just be exit liquidity for people? It doesn't make any sense. So I don't see it doing anything until people are out of ammo. and clearly there's a lot of tokens out there, and I thought they were out of ammo earlier, and I thought we could get some nice runs, but that's clearly just not the case. So again, I find it interesting how people say, why won't the chain pump? Why won't the chain pump? Meanwhile, they're the ones pressing the sell button. So
yeah.
What do you do, right? You wait till the conditions are more ideal for it. And if people get more frustrated and sell and the price goes down, well, then that's more X's that you get off of a bottom. If you're DCAing the whole time, then, eventually you are going to hit a bottom one of these times. So, yeah.
And here's my other question to you, because this did all kind of coincide with the Proof X sacrifice, which I think, there were parties that wanted that to mark a potential Pulse Chain bottom. So because once the announcement was made about the Proof X sacrifice and the fact that Pulse Chain, Pulse X, Hex, those tokens were not going to be accepted for the sacrifice, people knew that was going to create a sell-off, whether that just be a sentiment sell-off because they were so pissed about this sacrifice phase, which of course, there's a lot of people in that camp, or they wanted to sell off despite, not being able to use those tokens to just send like stables into the Proof X sacrifice. So
yeah,
that did happen. I mean, it did definitely force a new low for Pulse anyway. I think we get lost a lot of times because, like, about Hex, actually, I think it did too. But a lot of times, myself included, like, I keep talking about these, Pulse all-time low. And if you look at your portfolio, if you had been DCAing into, like, all of the major tokens for the last few years, it's not as bad as it would be if you weren't buying Pulse X, for example, because Pulse X has not been, at all-time lows or anything. So I'm always a little bit, don't get me wrong, when I look at my portfolio, I kind of want to step off a bridge, but I do sometimes get pleasantly surprised. I'm like, oh, wow, I thought it was way lower than that, but Pulse X is helping out a little bit. So, where the hell am I even going here? So do you think this was a successful kind of forced bottom for Pulse Chain here with during this Prove X sacrifice, which we've still got about another 3 weeks of, but nobody really in their right mind is sacrificing for it at this point. I think it still sits at a little bit over a $16 million valuation, which I feel very happy to be a part of. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Do you think this has worked? Because I mean, we're sitting basically at the all-time low. I can't imagine there's no way we go a little bit lower at some point. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think it worked. I think it helped. I'm pulling up the sacrifice now, trying to anyway, see if it loads for me. I think it has helped. I think there were some people that did sell. Obviously, when it was announced, you did see the the sell-off happen, and then quite a bit of money came in, not quite a bit, but a fair amount came into the sacrifice at that point. So it's accelerated it, I should say. So I don't think it has completely gotten everybody out. I think there's still a lot of holders out there that are still playing the game. Obviously, like I said, there are people that every little pump, they're going to try and trade it, and then they're going to wait. They're probably not going to hit every top and bottom of every little channel, but the problem is you just never know when the conditions are perfect and it runs away from you. And hopefully you haven't dumped your whole bag because you think you've just gotten so good at it. And then you end up having to chase it, and all the gains that you made doing that along the way are now gone, and you end up with a lower total of coins than you would have if you would have just sat still. So, that's the way it is with every market. People try to play it. We'll see. Again, we don't know when these tokens will be released. We don't know a lot of things right now. I'm seeing if this is loaded finally. Yeah, it did. So we are sitting at 16.348 million. So it hasn't really gone up by much. I think we were right about 16 million last week, or had just gotten there. So really $300,000 in the last week that has come in is a very, very low total. So yeah, I mean, I don't see this going up a whole lot more until the very end, whenever the OA or whoever decides to jump in and get their claim. Would be interesting though if that doesn't even happen.
Yeah.
There could be some smaller parties along the way with some random individual wallets that are just doing it instead of one big buy like that. So again, it'll be interesting to watch to see how much, just remember that 16.34, 16.35, we'll say, by the end of this week. And then I don't know, are we streaming next week? That'll be Christmas Eve.
I can't.
Yeah, so Christmas Eve, I don't think we will. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. We've got another 20 days ish, maybe,
right,
25 days left till it's over completely. So yeah, I'm excited about it. Again, I don't think it caused the bottom, but it definitely accelerated some people to get out and chase that new shiny object. So yeah.
I would say, yeah, whether it caused the bottom, I guess, like, I agree with you that if we were probably going to go to this price no matter what.
Yeah.
But well, it's kind of like the Band-Aid comment, another post that we saw get deleted, to just hurry up and get there quickly. Like Richard Hart. I mean, we've talked about a million times. He's definitely a fan of, like, I hate the term shaking out weak hands is just overdone at this point, but it is. You want people who are not going to be believers to get out, obviously. So it's easier to go up when it gets up. And I'm sure there's a lot of things that he's done or not done over the last few years that in his heart of hearts, no pun intended, he didn't want to do. Like, the whatever you call it, the outrage marketing and all that stuff. I don't, or not streaming as much or not posting as much or whatever. I don't think I'm sure, and if he was able to just do whatever he wanted to do, he would just do it,
Yeah.
And when I say able, I mean, like, it's probably best to use restraint right now when the market sucks. And somebody just said in the chat about, like, the pulse chain marketing stuff with the tablets and stuff, which we're going to get to in a moment, that, either way, we're doing things with them now, which is good. And there's advertising, but he said, why even do this unless we were like over sack rate or something like that? I mean, I get that. I think it also necessitates the overall market to be in better conditions as well. And I think that was Richard Hart's plan. Like, I specifically remember last June that he posted, like, imagine, 3 months from now, LCD, like, we didn't know what the devices were yet, but he was loosely describing them and that they're going to be in all these people's hands and this and that. And, like, Pulse Chain was going to be the talk of crypto and all this stuff. The market betrayed him completely. I mean, like, he did not expect it to be where it is now. I mean, you could tell on the last video that he made, he did not expect things to be where they are right now. I don't think a lot of us did. So, yeah. I don't know what my point really is there, but just he's not going to aggressively go after certain things right now and, create avenues for tons of money to be injected when there's just no market right now. And I think that's the wise thing to do, as tough as it is.
Exactly. You don't want to falsely do it when the timing isn't right. I mean, you really want to wait for ideal conditions if you're going to do it, or at least be a lot closer to it, right? And people just don't have the extra capital at the moment. The other markets aren't flooding into it. Bitcoin's in a really weird spot. ETH hasn't done shit. There's just so many things that are going against us, but the rest of crypto sucks too. And you have to remind people of that we are not on an island here. It's not just Pulse Chain. It's everything. So, I know this community is quite large, quite vocal, everything like that. And if you wouldn't see other charts and wouldn't know anything, you would think we were the only ones, right? But that's just so not the case. We're just a lot louder than everybody else, and it seems that way. So, yeah, if the conditions aren't ideal, then you pivot. Now, here's the cool thing about these tablets: it is giving a chance for people to get them, hand them out. I've heard some ideas about all these different, any kind of crypto conference that's going on. If people get several of them, you get a decent price if you're buying them in bulk. You take them to a show, you hand them out. When you meet other people in real life, it's crazy how people get along. People are like, "Oh, you're Pulse Chain," and they kind of look at you weird or whatever. I heard Tendies saying it, or one of those guys on the happy hour stream with Cabana earlier.
Big K,
maybe Big K. And you start to talk to people, and you're like, "Oh, you're pretty normal." We get a bad rap out there until you meet people in person. So it is what it is. Face to face, you get them out there. You start handing them out. It's recognition, right? I mean, it takes the average person 7 times before you see something and associate with it before you probably look into it. So it just takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be a magical thing where you get a million of these sent out and boom, the price goes up. It just doesn't work that way. But it's brand recognition. I'm sure he's actually probably pivoted to something else at this point,
Well,
realizing that it it isn't working. So
let's talk about that, because I was going to talk about this comment before the tablet tirade by you there, which is fine, but I wanted to say this. So to your point exactly, Eddie just said Tesla was in bankruptcy and they have to create new plans on top of new plans on top of new plans. That's what makes a good CEO. He was arguing that Richard Hart's plan is failing, so he needs to make a new one. Well, what do you think is happening before your eyes? Like he announces Prove X out of nowhere,
yeah,
which I'm sure you don't think counts, maybe, but a new product out of nowhere that has he's created the perfect conditions, and in no way am I saying that Prove X is going to do what Hex does. I highly doubt that it will, but he's created the perfect conditions to have a launch like Hex's. And what I mean by that is an extremely low valuation. Everyone hates him and distrusts him. No one wants to do this. And it should be the token. It's basically been intimated that it will be out before a product is out. And an under $20 million market cap Richard Hart token, that is deflationary and goes along with some of the privacy mechanisms that are happening in crypto right now.
yeah.
I think it's more appealing than not appealing. And I don't think you can call that not trying something else. I mean, he actually talked about that quite a bit in the video that he made a week and a half ago about how you keep trying things. If something fails, you keep trying and persisting. I would recommend watching that if you didn't see it, Eddie, but that's what he talked about. And then, like you just said, with the marketing stuff, well, now there's a new angle of the marketing stuff. We'll see how this works. If it doesn't, which we're going to get into it more specifically, but selling them on this DeFi Doodles site or whatever it is, if that isn't working as well, then you try something else. I mean, you could, right now, crypto is fucking dead. Okay. Like there's nothing going on. Ethereum is $2,800. Everybody hates Vitalik. Everybody hates Ethereum. There are people that think Ethereum is going to go back to like $800 again. Literally mainstream crypto people believe that. They think everything is trash. It's Bitcoin only. You were all wrong, blah, 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 blah. And you're singling out Richard Hart. Like all these people are singling out Richard Hart, that he's the big failure on the hill, I was watching a video of Charles Hoskinson the other day that's talking about, like, we just have to do better. Like, we've betrayed people in this industry, and that's why retail hasn't come back and all this shit. And it's like they're out there doing all other kinds of – they don't have any money. Trust me, they want to degen. They will degen. They're degenning on prediction markets and betting and shit like that right now. They don't have the money to get into other risk assets. So this whole idea of, like, crypto's betrayed the public or something like that, I don't agree with. I think they're just broke. But Richard Hart injects millions of dollars into this ecosystem. I don't know if you were listening on that stream earlier, Ewok. I don't know when the last time Charles did that for Cardano. I don't know if that's happening in Polkadot. I don't know if. So I'm just saying, if you think the guy's not doing anything or not trying, and to single him and this ecosystem out like it is the only big failure on the hill of crypto, I 100% disagree. And I am down bad, trust me. So I'm not talking from any ivory tower. So sorry, I'll get off my soapbox now.
No, you're good. You're good completely. We can let's move on to those tablets and talk about that.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So if you guys are enjoying the stream so far, do us a favor, peg that like button. We appreciate you being here. We do this pretty much every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, let's get into some of the updates. There we go, about the tablets here. So if you want to, I think it's probably best if you, so Richard did eventually repost his huge post about it. And then we could also maybe look at the RS Griffin one too. But essentially, again, as that commenter just brought up, oh no, do you want to do Richard's first? There's one of his that's more comprehensive, and then maybe we could go to that one. It basically that tweet that Richard originally deleted, he reposted with the correct information that I sent you.
That's where I wasn't it?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see that. I was looking at my notes. I'm sorry. So yes. So well, I'll just go through this. So trying another angle, like the last time around, and Richard said it in his last stream that the last attempt with the tablets did not yield the results that they wanted to. So now he says this nonprofit is selling LCD writing tablets with pulsechain.com, hex.com, and pump.tires written on them, discounts on larger orders, DeFiDoodles.com, $2.70 each at 160 quantity for magnetless. Discount code HEXMAS for 10% off. Proceeds to go to further their charitable outreach. Meet the reusable writing tablet that kids and adults can't put down. Perfect for drawing, notes, doodles, math practice, car rides, restaurants, and quiet time. So go paperless, save trees, battery lasts for years, no charging. Colorful screen, looks great in sunlight or shade, always on screen and writing, erase button and erase lock switch. Light and durable, kids love it. Quiet, focused, fun, no mess. Pen doodles doubles as a stand. Replaceable battery, ideal for birthdays, stocking stuffers, classrooms, travel toys, and sensory-friendly play. I can attest, as somebody who has had a child young enough that got their hands on many of these things, not these specific pulse chain ones, but many of these from different events that, exactly like this, like, some, I don't know, hospital event where they had a hospital themed doodle pad sent out. My son has had a whole bunch of these and used them over the years. And I know people make fun of this stuff, and maybe it's a good time to revisit our conversation about this before. So before direct mail was used, and we talked about the super low barrier to entry of what is considered a good direct mail product. And this basically blows most things you would get in the mail out of the water. It's something that you'll at least look at. The conversion rate, first off, it's cheap, extremely cheap to be able to send these that way. And the conversion rate need not be more than like 2% to see a positive return, really. And now it looks like they're trying a different strategy again. What do you think about this? Because this is basically Ewok, like, here's the site. They built the site out. Obviously, we're probably seeing a lot of pulse chain friendly people buying these right now, and then maybe distributing them in ways that they see fit. I don't know what that will be, but it is a different angle. So, and they are cheap. It's only $3.69 for the no magnet one, and $5.55 for the magnet one plus shipping. But and then discounts on the larger orders. So what do you make of this strategy? I think it's very interesting. And yeah, why not try something different this time? And I think it might be a good plan.
Yeah, well, Johnny had mentioned, weeks ago about putting them on Amazon. I think they tried that, but it was very, very difficult for them to even get listed. Or it was what I had heard. I don't know the details about that. So, but they have them. Why not generate a little bit of money to see what we can do then with, if there is another idea? There are going to be, apparently there are millions of these things. So why not get several 100,000 out there into hands and let people distribute them to other people, right? Again, this is more of a brand awareness thing. You're not going to hit mailboxes of people, and probably have good success rate with people saying, oh, let me look into this thing. What is this? You hear a lot of the higher or more, I guess, more popular people's names come out and say, what is this? And then it gets a lot of attention. One post can get 100,000 views or whatever it was. But I think this is a good idea to allow people to market it, to hand it out to people who may be interested. Go to conferences, set up a table, hand them out at a crypto conference. We know people are interested in crypto. Why not do something like that and have this charity or foundation make a little bit of money off of it? I think it just, it makes sense, right? So let's let them get some of this back, put it back into the foundation, and go from there. Again, these guys are, somebody had mentioned it in the chat, they are all volunteers. They're working their ass off out there trying to get these things out. I know SJ is one. I know RG3 is another. There's a lot of people that have been donating and volunteering a lot of their time to help with this. So yeah, pivot, right? It's not working by trying to send them out by just mailers. Let's pivot. Let's try and let people sell them and then distribute them. So distribute them to people that may get more views or whatever it may be, more likely to buy crypto. So
yeah. And DJ Moonboy, I mean, I would also say too, the fact that these are not expensive at all to distribute, I don't think Richard really cares about saving a whole bunch of them for when or if crypto ever is popping off again. You know what I mean? Like I don't think he cares what the chart obviously he doesn't care what the chart looks like right now when he's talking about this. Plus we forget too, I said a little bit ago, but like Pulse is not the only token within the ecosystem. Like PulseX doesn't have the same chart, so there's other things as well. I don't think that's really a concern of his. It's just spamming the brand out there. I think that's really all that matters. And you know, if things, I know no one expects it right now, but if things do turn a positive leaf next year, and a lot of these are already floating out there, that's great that you already have it. I don't think there's any downside because this isn't costing him lots of money. You know what I mean? This isn't.
Well, they're already bought, so they're definitely not costing any more money than they've already cost, right?
Well, and also, yeah, but this effort right now is probably costing some money. But even that, I don't think it's a lot of money, you know, to do these things either. So I guess what I'm saying is this is like an extremely low risk endeavor, is all I'm saying, with any reward being probably a positive. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I think you want to get the brand awareness out there now, so that people can kind of kick themselves when the green candles do come and say, "Man, I saw that. Isn't that the thing we saw whenever the tablet came in the mail and we threw it away?" You know, things like that happen, and it makes people FOMO. I honestly, when you realize that you could have had something more, I think the FOMO is higher. So, just my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in favor of that. Plus, I mean, you're also, hey, while the market's down right now, if the first attempt with these didn't go as well as you wanted to, keep trying things like what we've been saying and like Richard's been saying. Just keep trying things, find out eventually what works the best, whatever. This is just icing on the cake of what I think the plan ultimately was that Richard has, but the market has betrayed everybody. Like I said, I mean, I was just listening to, not to get into this whole thing today, but I don't know why I go into these Twitter spaces because very rarely are they worth anybody's time, I feel like. But people were in there arguing about, like, we got to stop comparing Pulse Chain to Ethereum. Stop saying that you need Ethereum to do well, blah, 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 blah. I just don't understand. Like, I'm not saying you need Ethereum to do well for Pulse Chain to do well, but it's more so when, as NJ Dub was saying in the chat a little bit ago, like when the business cycle is just down and everybody's broke, people aren't buying any of these things. I think it's just compared to and talked about in concert with Ethereum because it is an EVM chain. It was a system state copy of Ethereum, and Ethereum also is shitting the bed, you know. And Ethereum, I don't know where everybody's been, but you know, in Ethereum's existence, it has pulled up the altcoin market. So I think that's why people are talking about it. I mean, yeah. So anyway, I didn't mean to get off on that, but
well, no, it's true.
Yeah, but I like at least going at another angle at it here and seeing how it works. Do you have any kind of final thoughts on any of this?
No, just reading the super butthurt comments is kind of whatever.
I don't give a shit anymore. Like, here's the thing. These people are here in our chat talking about it. Like, evidently you kind of care a whole lot. Like, I mean, even if you're complaining, I mean, that's what's great too. And even like I just said that I don't find value in those Twitter spaces. I was reflecting about that while I was listening to the waste of time I felt like Twitter space earlier. And I was like, but these guys are all here doing this. Like, they're all here doing that. I don't agree with some of what they're saying. I wouldn't put this person on stage or want them speaking and stuff like that, but they're all impassioned and talking about this right now, you know, and that's good. And even for the detractors in the chat here tonight that have a better plan that Richard Hart does, and what I would have done is this, that, or the other thing. Looks like you're still interested and you're still here. I mean, you're still talking about it, and that's good. I can't tell you the bearish comments on all. I have never 100%. I can say this unequivocally now, and we've seen all kinds of bearish sentiment and everything over the last few years. This is definitely the most bearish I've ever seen. Like every video gets negative comments, which, by the way, if you're watching this later, I just delete them. So feel free to leave them, but I just remove them. But yeah, it's just, I have never seen things this bearish right now. So yeah.
Capitulation central.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an interesting idea. Valiant Low-Key, how about Old Glory Bank using? Yeah, I don't know if there's another, furthering of a relationship with Old Glory Bank that I don't know how much Coast has their ear in terms of things like that. I mean, I definitely value the partnership. I mean, I use Old Glory Bank all the time, and I value their partnership with Coast. I don't know how that would work, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe Coast can further their relationship with them down the line too. I agree. Cool. Do you have any final thoughts right now on the tablets anyway, Ewok?
No, let's see how this goes. I bought a couple.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I think I'm going to do the same thing. I was looking at them today and just was busy with work and stuff. But yeah, I think I'm going to too. I think I saw somebody say that they were sold out at some point today, but it looks like they're not now. So I'm not sure.
I don't think they're sold out. Don't forget the there is a code there. I think you put in Hexmas.
Yep.
You get 10% off. So
yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, Red Bull vodka. You're interested because
and feel bad for the people that spent $1,600 on them.
It's pretty funny. Well, Trevon, I mean, he can probably afford it, I guess, but he publicly did. Well, wait, did he get outbid? I think he only bid up to $800. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think he got outbid. But somebody did end up paying $1,600 for two of them or something like that.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, and now you can get them for $3.69 without the magnet.
Another underlying bullish indicator about the community and the fever pitch behind this stuff, the fact that people did buy those for that much money though on eBay for resale. So yeah, good stuff. Let's move over to oh boy, I don't know which direction to go here. I feel like we're being a little bit redundant, but whatever. Who cares? Let's just continue. We're already talking about the sentiment. Do you want to find the post I sent you from Richard the other day when he was talking about prices being down? This was not the Hex Scout stuff. Yeah, but the stuff about prices the other day. So I thought this was pretty good in some of the terminology that he put in here that a lot of people in the chat are experiencing tonight. He says prices ever going down at all from any level make people angry. In economics, it's called the ratchet effect. People are okay with pay or profit going up, but not down. Upon this emotional impetus, everyone runs the program they're used to running. Complainers complain. I think I know a few of them. Rage quitters rage. The sad get sad. The infighters fight. And the indomitable work harder. Everyone just runs the program they're used to running across all different parts of their life. I tell you what, that is really insightful. And like, it made me reflect on myself because like all these people in the chat that are whining and crying while pressing sell and stuff like that. I am whining and crying in private a lot. Trust me. Like I am not, the pillar of confidence all the time. We're on a stream right now, so I'm not going to act a fool or anything like that. But I have days that are not fantastic. I mean, I think we all do. I just don't really act out publicly. That's all. But he says the trick is you have to see the reality underneath the feels. Most of the cry fagging in crypto is really just the price is down, but with a lot of extra insulting words, depending on what program they're used to flapping their lips in the style of blah, 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 blah. Oh man. So like you just mean price is down. Yeah. ETH was 5K in 2021. It's 3K now, 4 years later. I keep my eye on the ball instead of crying like a bitch. Bitch mode crying. Don't do nothing except increase your ice cream bills. I don't understand that sentence. Maybe you do.
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that was a typo or what. But yeah, I mean, I get what he's saying. Yeah, it's almost like being drunk It's like whatever you are comes out more so when you're
in
in that
multitude.
set.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you and I are drinking, you always get kind of feelsy and touchy and stuff like that with me. But yeah, it's just very. I think it's very accurate. Yeah, people are going to. You see what people's true behavior when things are not going well, like in any endeavor in life. That's just how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, it amplifies the person you really are. So, it definitely causes the pain. It sucks. But again, we've talked about this before is talking badly about things that you own cannot be good. Like it's just
Why? Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me, especially publicly. You want to chat with your friends about how much it sucks, then yeah, fine. But you don't go posting all over X about how bad this is and how bad you think Richard has screwed up. That's definitely not good marketing either. So
Yeah, or like,
anyway,
oh, look at the volume of this chain. Oh, how about like mocking it and stuff. I do understand, and I do want to make a differentiation here to some people in the chat. Being, I guess, like critical and offering ideas is, I don't think, that much of a problem. I mean, if you can be critical constructively and have other ideas, that's fine. None of you do. You're just bitching. You know what I mean? So, like, if
yeah.
you have another idea or another way to go about it, other than really, providing nothing, that's fine. We don't do a lot. I mean, we stream here once a week and just kind of cover what's going on, and that's basically it. And that's what we add. And we do, I absolutely don't agree with like everything that Richard has done before. I also, at the same time, and maybe it's appeal to authority, I imagine I don't know everything he does or have a better plan. But anybody that feels they do should speak it and talk about an alternative and stuff. And I think they should. But
Mhm.
I don't know if you saw this comment here
I
from.
did.
Yeah. So all crypto pundits need to just stop talking on YouTube until next summer. At this point, it's falling on deaf ears. Deaf ears, I assume you mean. Maybe they're dead. Actually, maybe everybody's already dead. I don't know. There has literally been no relief in 4 years. This ain't working. Crypto's been dead. Yep, you're right, but we're not going to do what you said, and we'll still be streaming here probably every single week, and you'll be here watching probably. So, and that's kind of the nice thing is, and actually on that other stream, maybe this is why we don't have as many viewers at the beginning of the show tonight, but the great Cabana Crypto stream that was going on, they were talking about just that, like a value is like just commiserating, like people. Like they were
Yeah.
talking about like some of their onboards that were freaking out. Oh, here we go, all-time low prices today. Having somebody else to commiserate with is valuable. We need it even. Like I know we host a show and all you in the chat think that we're already rich from Hex or something and on an ivory tower and all this stuff. I don't turn my heat on throughout the day to save money, and I eat rice and beans every single day. So you're wrong, but yeah, it's just people need to commiserate, and I think that's a valuable thing too. So what do
Yeah.
you think about that?
Yeah, I don't turn my heat off, but I mean,
It's okay.
I've been here an extra cycle, so I mean, I'm not. But hey, I'm still working. And I think a lot of the problem is there's a lot of people that got you know overly wealthy with Hex. They saw their bags and quit work. And and now it sucks. I can imagine if you had quit a job because you thought, hey, this is going to be great, we're doing so well. I do feel bad for those people that ended up quitting or retiring or whatever and thought, well, I can just live off of my X stakes. And yes, venting is good. It's good to talk to people. It's good to get those emotions out. But again, I just don't recommend being your primary focus is to talk badly about the things that you own.
You optimistic son of a bitch.
Yeah, this guy has it out for me tonight, doesn't he? Oh
If there's
well.
one thing I hate, it's
I hate that optimistic Ewok guy, I tell you.
Yep. Be depressed.
Listen,
Please.
I say this over and over, but do you want people? I mean, unless you're really sadistic and you just want people to buy your bags when it's up, I want my friends, family, people like that to buy in at Lowe's. I want to see them experience the um I want them to get the emotions out of the run up too when it does finally happen, so we can all have fun together. That's the idea. You don't want it to just wait until you see a bunch of green candles. Now's the time that you should be trying to onboard people. Yes, it sucks. Yes, the charts are awful. But if you're not buying when there's blood in the streets, that's when the money's made, man. So I don't know what to tell you.
Yep, I'm with you. Boy, this is a fun chat tonight. We have a lot of saucy stuff in here. Yeah, Philly wood stove is where it's at. Wood stove is definitely a good idea. Let's just do a random. I don't know what this even says. Liberty or death, 1776. Nobody knows how things will go in crypto or markets. There definitely seems to be a lot of new investors been investing since the year 2000 and have waited decades for gains. You take your own risk. I mean, yeah, that's basically it. And trying to remove emotion from it as much as possible. But I also understand, I mean, liberty or death, you have a very, long-term and mature view of things. And obviously 2000 is prior to, Bitcoin's existence. But a lot of people that are here tonight and may not be too dissimilar from Ewok and I at times have, really leveraged crypto. I don't mean literally leverage, but you know what I mean? Like really been all in kind of on crypto and, put more money in than they were comfortable having go down, which I've certainly done, and have gotten emotional about it. And I've been there too. Like I plenty of times. It's just that, publicly we're not whining and stuff like that, I guess is all I'm saying.
Do you scream and cry in the car when you're listening to Slipknot?
No, I don't listen to. I've never liked Slipknot. I will admit to liking some new metal era stuff. I would listen to Korn before I would listen to Slipknot. Korn is a guilty pleasure band for sure. But now it's more like on the Bluetooth speaker while I'm working out or something like that. So yeah. Korn. I'm trying to think of another new metal bit. I guess just Korn, really. Yeah, but yeah, liberty or death. There's just a lot of inexperienced.
Sorry.
You go ahead. Investors in crypto, and this kind of emotion is natural. You'll get over it and be better for it in the future. Everyone goes through the hard knocks early in investing. Yeah, I think that's definitely it. And I think it would help a lot of these people to just get a win under their belt. Like once you go through all this, which I mean, let's be honest. Like if you bought the top of crypto in 2021. And have DCA'd, or even worse, if you have not DCA'd, but if you are here now, still in it, you've had one of the uniquely worst experiences ever. Like I will say that, like it's legitimately a potentially like terrifying experience, like to put that much money in, see if you've DCA'd and helped your bags out, like you probably aren't literally like a 95% drawdown. You're probably more like 75 or something like that. I get it. I mean, it's, it puts you in a state of fear and makes operating life difficult unless you, maybe start having some cash on the side to help you feel a little bit more comfortable and stuff like that. So I 100% understand it. And I think once people get a win under their belt and get through something like this, it becomes easier to withstand these types of things.
Yep.
And I know it's loaded. I do feel kind of like to say these types of things. This is very unique, Like, I mean, wouldn't you say that, Ewok? Like over the last few years, the stuff that in this ecosystem we can speak to really more than anything else. But I mean, if it wasn't the SEC shit, which by the way, Richard, defeated the SEC, whether it was the whatever Interpol garbage, so many different things. And now, the market just isn't coming back. It's like if all that wasn't enough. I mean, it is pretty uniquely rough,
Yeah, we've had 3 black swan events. I mean, honestly, when you look at all of everything that this community has gone through in the past 2 or 3 years, we've seen a lot more than most do in several cycles. So
Yeah.
delayed gratification, though, I mean, it will definitely. I think that things will be just fine, and getting through this tough time will definitely make you, make you a lot more appreciative of it when it does happen. So
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff from Liberty or Death. I'll read one last one here. I sold so many investments that would have made me lots of money in my early years of investing, lost lots of money and made lots of money. It takes years. I've done so well in crypto and I'm sticking with RH. That's kind of the thing. Like in crypto, especially, or especially over these last 4 years, you can look at all these other things that have done really well, like whether it's different meme coins, like on Solana last year. You can look at all these things in retrospect and be like, damn it, why didn't I do that? Like, why am I sticking with this? But the thing is, that's the benefit of hindsight. Like you just don't have any idea that that's what's going to happen. And let me ask you, like, what your thesis would be if you went that direction. Like, okay, what meme coins? Was it just going to be Solana meme coins whenever that Murad guy pumped them all at the top of the market, which is when everybody really knew about them, and you bought the top of all them when they're all down like 90 some percent now? It You have to actually have conviction, or there's no way you would hold anything long term. And I think the reason that despite this price action and how depressing it is, that we have the conviction in Pulse Chain and in Richard is because of his attitude and everything that we're seeing right now. I mean, even the detractors and the people that are upset in chat are still holding, evidently. I mean, they're admitting it, despite being down. So there must be deep down within some shred of belief that this guy who just won't fucking go away and hired, 11 of the best attorneys in the world to defeat the SEC and is trying all these other things and has a long history of being a badass, like in this, crypto space with tons of video proof of it. You have belief in him at the end of the day, and you don't in anything else more than him, or you would be in that,
Yeah.
So
yeah. And those guys earlier said it too. I've never seen a Polygon stream or a Polkadot or anything like that. It doesn't happen. Like this community is definitely quite unique. Very intelligent. We are way ahead of the curve. Many of us are ahead of the curve with our crypto knowledge. Most people only know how to log into an exchange and buy or sell.
Right.
We provide liquidity. We do invest in different protocols and do different things. The NFTs were out there, like, so we've experienced a lot of interesting things, and I think we're all much further ahead because of it, because of the guy running this chain, and he's educated quite a bit of people on the protocols, and again, I think we're ahead of the curve, and I think we'll benefit from it down the road.
I would say to Eddie here, XRP didn't win the SEC, but look at them now. Look at the difference, and we beat the SEC. So go buy XRP. Why are you not buying XRP then? I mean, I don't like, if that's your entire thesis, then go buy Ripple. I don't understand why you wouldn't do that. That sounds like a good idea then. Yeah, DJ and Moonboy. Yeah, I got to get a better backdrop. Well, we're gonna try. We'll see what we can do here. I need to make a little bit of money first. So, anywho, I don't even remember what this topic originally was. Oh, I guess just the Richard talking about what we're exactly talking about. So, yeah. Do you have somewhere else you want to go? I feel like we keep banging the same drum because we're just dealing with the same stuff.
I think there's not a whole lot going on. I mean, we could go any direction, and we only have like 20 minutes. I don't know.
Let's do this. There's been a lot of responding to people that are feeling negative. Like, what do you? We're wrapping up 2025. It has gone. Keep in mind, not the way that anybody thought this year would go. It did not go well. Actually, this quarter four, to put it in perspective, was a worse Q4 in crypto than 2022 2022. Okay. This is FTX collapse, Sam Bankman-Fried going to jail, everything. This Q4 in the bull market 2025 was worse than that, worse than Q4 of 2019. What do you look forward to, Ewok? I mean, I'm not looking necessarily for predictions, but like what positives are you looking forward to, or what we aren't selling, as aren't many people in the chat. So why aren't we, I guess, is my question to you, Ewok.
Well, because I feel like the macro will turn around. I feel like the setup will be there eventually. If at that point nothing happens after things are primed, money printing is back on, people are spending money, and still nothing, well, it may be time to rethink. But that just hasn't happened yet. And I don't have a problem waiting. Again, I think I'm from maybe a different generation than a lot of the younger people, and it doesn't bother me to wait. Like I, I think you appreciate it more if you do go through some trials and tribulations before you actually get what you want. It's more appreciated. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I think the cycle itself, the overall macro will be there eventually. It just isn't yet. And I think a lot of it has to do with the setup that this president had coming in, where everybody was against him. There was a lot of things not going his way. People wouldn't bend to do the things that he wanted to do from the beginning. It's taken this long. And until you get a new Fed chair, for things to happen, it's delayed. So that's what I have to look forward to in the new year. I think again, the community that we have here is great for the most part.
Yeah,
I get it. People are frustrated, man, and I know it sucks. But again, being negative doesn't do a whole lot. I'm the type of person where I will avoid drama at all costs. If there's drama in my life, I try to eliminate it, or spend as very little time with it as possible. So, that's just me. I'll mute it. If we could be friends online, and if I see you talking negative all the time, I mute it. I don't want to see it. It doesn't do me any good. It doesn't do you any good. So again, we have a special community. We have a lot of very very dedicated people, and there's good things coming. I know there are. So, and stimmy checks can't hurt.
Yeah, if they actually happen. I agree with you. I mean, 2026 is going to be interesting either way. And how can things get worse? Well, I guess they always can, famous last words. But with the macroeconomics coming the way that they are, I'm just intrigued to see, what is that just not going to make a difference? If it doesn't make a difference in 2026, because no matter what, Bitcoin must fail every 4 years, and that's just the way it is, then will that setup be good for moving into 2027, 2028? Because if the 4-year cycle people are 100% right, and next year is down only until like October of 2026, and Bitcoin goes to 35K, like they're all saying, then 27 would be an accumulation year where things are swinging back up. 2028, 2029, a bull market year. I know nobody even wants to think that far ahead. But you have to think, I mean, if Ethereum and altcoins are going to be this butchered through this entire bull market of 2024 and 2025, can they really go back and sweep lows again? Like, will Ethereum go back to $850 again, like it was at the bottom of the last bear market? We're already seeing in front of our eyes right now. We talked about it at the top of the show. Bitcoin has dropped 35 to 40%, and Ethereum typically drops a hell of a lot more against Bitcoin than it has. I mean, it hasn't really gone down that far against Bitcoin because of that. So, it would stand to reason, like, what goes down must comes up, and vice versa. And if these things never did anything this cycle, how could they be subject to just this horrible bear market? And that may even go for Bitcoin too. That's another thing that even the Bitcoin Maxi 4-year cycle people are saying, which, I mean, they are wanting Bitcoin to do well, but because this cycle was so odd. We saw an early high in 2024. Maybe there isn't as a depressive, deep bear market. We didn't see anywhere near, I don't think, the corruption and, we mentioned Sam Bankman-Fried earlier. You think of Voyager, Three Arrows Capital, Celsius, and Mashinsky last cycle. I mean, bona fide criminals that have no business being in crypto. And yeah, there's stuff out there, and actually we didn't talk about it, and I don't really want to get into it, but there's a lot of stuff happening with Pump Fund and Solana right now. Speaking of legal stuff, which is pretty interesting. Some things may be coming to roost there, but we haven't seen that kind of stuff this cycle. So that's intriguing, and I'm just happy that Richard Hart is around, still kicking and trying everything that he possibly can, building out this ecosystem and trying to make the best of every type of product that he can. And yeah, we'll see who basically advertises their stuff the best and who has the best working stuff whenever people have money to buy speculative assets again, because they haven't this entire cycle really. And Bitcoin's really just been run by the institutions so far. So
yeah, and that's what it's been. This cycle has been all institution. It's been very different from the normal, populace getting in, the retail. We haven't seen retail, but retail hasn't had the access to the finances. The last administration really hurt that. The prices of everything just went crazy. It will even out, and I think people will get there. I saw someone just live said that, or just live. Am I the only one that thinks the stimulus checks are not happening and a bad thing in general? I don't know. It depends where they're coming from, right? If we're just printing more money to send them to everybody, and that really messes with the inflation that we've done, we've gotten down to a manageable rate, then yeah, it's a bad idea. But eventually you want to definitely kickstart the spending at some point. I don't know what that number is, if it's 500 or 1,000, maybe not 2,000 to everybody. But yeah, I know the last time that we got stimulus checks, everything popped off. Now, was that because of COVID? Everybody was at home. Who knows? But we saw what it did for crypto, and it sure set everything on fire as far as that goes. But what were the ramifications, right? So yeah, we'll see. I if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, then we get the regular macro that trickles down into the rest of the economy. Risk on becomes a little bit more favorable. That trickles into Bitcoin, which then leads down through Ethereum and then altcoins too. So we'll see. Yeah, if they're dividend checks from tariff profit, great. But again, you still, they're still printing the money out of thin air. Basically, it's not money that we've taken in that they're holding in some savings account. So
right. And that's the nature of these currencies. They don't actually exist in the world, so they're always going to be printed out of thin air. So that's one thing that's the thing that's on our side. We just got to catch up here at some point, hopefully. So I think it's a good place to wrap up. We really appreciate everybody being here tonight. Awesome chat. I mean, even the dissenting opinions, and I did see your comment, Eddie, definitely no hate or anything, and we appreciate you chiming in for sure. So I don't want you to feel like that I was being too mean to you specifically. It was just responding to what you said, but I hear where you're coming from. It's been a tough time. So appreciate you, DJ and Moonboy, Just Live. Yes. Hex Girl. We had Tam here. We had Duke of Booze chiming in there at the end. So appreciate you coming in. NJ Dub, Fish Cracker, Liberty or Death. A lot of great posts from you. Appreciate it. Valiant Low Key. Looking for others that just not see. The Beached Whale and a lot more. So we really appreciate you guys. We do this pretty much every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Next week is Christmas Eve. I missed your super chat, Duke of Booze. I'm sorry about that.
So did I.
I really appreciate that, man. You are the man. And hey, I don't know if you're still planning on making content, Duke of Booze, but I would definitely enjoy it. I think you've got a lot of insight, so appreciate that. Yes, Merry Christmas, everybody. Hex Girl, we appreciate all of you. let's all stick together. Maybe we get a stream or a video from Richard Hart next week. Maybe we don't, since he already did earlier this month. I guess we'll see. But yeah, we appreciate you guys, and we're not going to be going anywhere. So we will be taking off next week, however. So
we're not going anywhere, but we won't be here next week.
Yeah, it's Christmas Eve. The Wednesdays are lining up weird. Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve are both Wednesdays. So we're going to figure it out. I can definitively say I will not be here though next week. So we'll figure something out. We're going to be here as much as we can. So yeah. Any final words, Ewok?
No, man. Just everybody have a safe, happy holiday, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Spend time with family and enjoy yourself and be safe.
Yeah. And if you don't have family to celebrate it with, that's okay. Just whatever you can do to make it through the holiday. And if you're, fortunate enough to have them with you or visit with people you don't see very often, be in the moment, because it's not like there's anything going on in crypto to pay attention to. So
you're not going to miss anything, right?
No, you're not. So appreciate all you guys. We will see you soon. This has been Bah Humbug Boy Crypto for Crypto Ewok. We'll see you next time right here on the Creed of Crypto.
See ya.